Hello and welcome back to Markets at Noon. Nifty looking in decent since morning, probably led by global cues, but let's focus on some management and some companies that will be in focus. Sensex right now is up about 380 odd points, led mainly by the financial pack, and Nifty is up around 110 odd points. Let's welcome in the management at CenturyPly now. Mr. Keshav, ED at CenturyPly Boards, is now with us. So lockdown, of course, would have impacted your business, and now you also get the cyclone which comes in. What do you see the overall impact as coming in? Do you think that this will make the recovery process slightly slower?
I think the cyclone has only impacted Bengal and Orissa. So while for these two markets, definitely, I think it has been a massive disruption. But I think it is going to be a small dent further than what was already caused by COVID.
Talk about any damage. Do you see any damage to the equipment, to the current inventory due to the cyclone? What can be the estimate for this loss?
There has been substantial damage in our Calcutta unit. One of our chimneys that had stood the test of time for about 30 years has collapsed. I think we'll be able to get back to production within 10-12 days. Surprisingly, one part of our Calcutta unit, laminates, was up and running from the next day of the cyclone itself. I was quite surprised by the same. But I think the damage is not going to be substantial. All our factories are covered by insurance. So whether it be stock or machinery, I don't think the financial impact is going to be much. But yes, for 10 days, the production plywood unit in Calcutta has been shut.
All right, that's good to know. Mr. Bhajanka, when you say 10-12 days, within 10-12 days, you'll be able to resume operations. Will it be, completely back to what you were in the pre-cyclone, period? Or, will it be a gradual recovery back to, regular operations?
I think it is going to be pretty much back to the new normal, which is what we were experiencing post the lockdown starting. Our factories are still not able to produce 100% because of various government guidelines. And I think that is going to continue. But within 10 days, we will be back to production at pre-Amphan levels or the new normal.
Well, Mr. Bhajanka, at this point of time, we are looking at two kinds of normals. Unfortunately, one is, post-lockdown. Then there's, of course, post-cyclone, pre-cyclone. So I know it's a double whammy of sorts, especially for companies like you that are manufacturing in the cyclone-hit regions. Now, Mr. Bhajanka, do you assess a significant hit coming in on demand? Pardon me, because firstly, of course, we are looking at this hit on the entire economy. People are going to perhaps have lesser disposable income as incomes reduce, as job losses are there, and then to add on to that, the damage due to the cyclone. So, what sort of a hit are you assessing on demand?
You see, I think the next 3 to 4 months is going to be very tough. They are going to be difficult months for us and maybe for the economy as a whole. But India is a very resilient economy, and even in the last financial crisis, we took a hit, but our recovery was faster than what most people had recommended. I'm not an economist, but what I do believe is that in the short term, we will suffer. But beyond that, we should be looking at a recovery that is faster than most other countries. I would say that by H2 of this year, we should be back pretty much close to normal. And I think that in the short term, the impact is going to be there. But we are, by the grace of God, in a good position to withstand that impact.
Of course, these are unprecedented times, and I'm sure that we have not seen such times where there was a complete economic shock of a lockdown of 60-70 days. How do you think the consumer behavior will change? You think that will be something to focus on, or once things start to move, normalcy will also come quite easily?
They say there's a silver lining at the end of each cloud. So one way that I'm looking at this is the lockdown has shown us all the importance of work. And particularly anybody who has been at home the entire time will realize that if you have a minor defect, if you have the option of upgrading to a better house, when your disposable income permits, you would want to make that transition. So I think not in the short term, maybe towards the middle of the medium term, we are going to see people prioritizing homes more. I think people are going to be looking to upgrade or upscale as and when their incomes permit. And I think that might actually be a benefit for us going forward. But this is just speculative.
All right. Okay, Mr. Bhajanka, we wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for joining us and, sort of helping us understand on ground what exactly are companies, based in the cyclone hit regions facing, and, when would they be able to get back to resuming their operations. All right, meantime, we have a clarification from Axis Bank on the